Morning, Scott in Colorado here. I wanted to talk about two things. Really one thing. Let's talk about your personal safety. All right. You are responsible for your own personal safety, not your dad, not your mom, not the cops, not the government, not the car manufacturers, not the people who made your climbing harness or your clothes or your sheets or your pillows. You are responsible for your own safety. Let's talk about normalcy bias. This is the time, it was about 1973, 74. I'm living in Ireland. I'm walking down the street and I'm headed to the post office, all right, to mail a package. And I believe it was Cork. As I approached within about a half mile, maybe a third of a mile to the post office in a downtown area, walking on the sidewalk, I noticed that every third or every other footstep, I would see a bloody footprint on the sidewalk, a bloody shoe print. And it was each time a person put that, it was a left foot. So each time this person stepped on their left foot, it would leave a bloody footprint. I followed this and I remarked to my friend, I said, that's blood. He goes, yeah, sure looks like it. And we followed it. Well, we didn't follow it. It headed right to the post office, right where we were going. Took every corner, every turn, and I walked into the post office, and there's 50 people in there. And I followed the footprint. It got wetter and wetter until it went right up to this guy, this Irishman, who's standing there in queue to post some mail or whatever. And he's got a pool of blood, which is getting larger and larger around his left foot. He had looked like a 45 round, 45 caliber bullet hole in right through his ankle, through his shoe, leather shoe, and into his ankle. And as he shifted back and forth, he was bleeding out. And I looked at him, and he's just white as a piece of paper, and pale, and kind of swaying back and forth on his feet. I said, "Are you all right, sir?" And he looked at me real slow, and he says, "I'm all right, lad." I said, "Well, looks like you've been shot in the foot." I said, "You're bleeding on the floor. Are you sure you don't need some medical help? Do you need help getting to the hospital?" He just looks at me and says, "I'm all right, lad." That's all he could say. I walked over to the Garda, which is police in Ireland. I walked up to him, told him what I'd seen and done, and pointed out the guy to him, which is only 12, 15 feet away from him. And he says, "Oh, I'll check on that, lad." So he walks over, he asks the guy if he's okay. The guy has the same response. He says, "I'm all right." He shrugs his shoulders. The Garda walks back over, posts where he was standing on guard in the post office. That was it. Life was cheap in Ireland, especially back during the Troubles, during the war there. It was, so what? I don't know if the guy lived or died. I don't know if he would have passed out on the floor. They might not have even called an ambulance. I don't know. He was just in the way. That was normal there. Let's talk about normalcy bias, all right? That was normal for Ireland when I was living there. It's not very normal here. But normalcy bias is when we think that things will never change. We think that we're always going to be safe. Well, I've never been robbed. I've never been burglarized, so I don't believe that there's any reason to lock my front doors. I've flown in planes before. I've never been in a crash, so a plane wreck will never happen. I've gone hiking up in the mountains before in the summertime, and it's always been nice weather, so there's no reason for me to carry a jacket or a sweater with me or rain gear. I've never been thirsty, so I can go on this hike and I don't have to really bother with carrying a bottle of water with me. I can wear shorts in the summertime and I'll be fine. Shorts and a t-shirt, and I'll climb up to 14,000 feet on this trail. There's lots of tourists doing this, and I'll be fine. Nothing bad will ever happen to me. Well, nothing ever bad happened to me until something bad happened to me. And then, like, it's a big shock. It's like, well, duh. All right? Bad things happen. People get hurt. People get robbed. I never had my vehicle burglarized until it was burglarized the first time. Well, I left a down jacket, brand new down jacket, laying in plain view in the back seat of the car and went climbing when I was 18 years old, and it got stolen. Somebody saw it through the window. Well, duh. All right? Like Forrest Gump says, stupid is as stupid does. All right? That's what his mom used to tell him. All right? Don't do stupid things with stupid people in stupid places. All right? Be prepared. It's the old Boy Scout motto. Be prepared. In law enforcement, it was so frustrating to deal with the same people over and over and over again. We called them professional victims. You've probably known some of these people. They're always losing their money, giving their money away because people will ask them. They're generous people. That's great, all right? But they're always getting ripped off by people. They don't use common sense. Common sense is not common. People would go to the bar, and I would show up there for some kind of a bar fight, and people would say, I don't understand it, you know. It's getting so you can't go to a bar and have a pleasant drink anymore without being involved in a fight or some kind of scuffle. Well, don't be stupid. Quit going to the dang bar. You think you're going to meet your dream woman in a pub? Give me a break, all right? Don't do stupid things drinking with stupid people, other drinkers in stupid places, all right? Don't hang out around at 2 o'clock in the morning in the darkest parts of town, all right? Something bad will happen, all right? Let's talk about conditions. I believe it was Jeff Cooper who came up with this idea of these mental conditions of awareness. Condition white, yellow, orange, and red. They used to teach us this in law enforcement for officer safety. Condition white is the condition that a person is in when they're asleep. They're completely relaxed. They're not worried about someone breaking into their home. All right? They're totally unaware of what's going on around them. Condition yellow is the condition that really everyone should be in all the time when things are calm. All right? If I'm sitting in my front room, I'm not so wrapped up in my reading, or if I'm working on something upstairs in the workroom, I'm not so wrapped up that I'm completely unaware of a sound that goes on downstairs, somebody knocking on the door. I don't just walk down there and just open the door. All right? I check first. Is that front door locked? Yes, it's locked. It's locked 24/7. Okay? My mom, when I was growing up, she always locked the door. She lived through the Depression, World War II. That door was locked. If you walked outside on a Saturday afternoon when we have friends over and that door closed behind you, it locked. If you didn't have a key, you were locked out. We got keys when we turned 12 years old. Other than that, we walked out the front door, we were locked out. How do we get back inside? We had to knock on the door, and Mom had to come and open the door for us, right? And she never opened the door unless she looked and saw who it was first. And we lived in a quiet community. There's nothing but orange groves and eucalyptus trees around us when I was growing up, till later on, people started moving in. But you need to be aware. She was pulling the drapes. She would pull the drapes at dusk in the house, and she'd be in the living room. She'd pull the drapes. And one day she started pulling the drapes, and there was a guy sitting on our back fence. It was a chain link fence in between us and the neighbors. Well, it was between a vacant lot and our home. And he was sitting there on the fence. And my mom, like my mom was, very bold, she walked out there and walked outside and opened up the door. She yelled at him. She says, "Get off my fence." And he looked at her all surprised, jumped down, and as he jumped down, he made this ching, ching, ching sound. Well, he was carrying a pillowcase, and it was full of silverware. It was a burglar. He was casing our house, right? There's a reason Mom pulled those drapes. This guy's window shopping. He was watching us. Okay, he had all our neighbors' silverware back in the days when people had silver. All right. Mom was always in condition yellow. Condition orange is when you see that there's a threat, all right, and you're going to either avoid it or you're going to confront it. Condition red is when you're fighting for your life. Always be in condition yellow all the time. Don't get your head out of your cell phone. Look up. Don't walk down the street downtown or in your neighborhood and have your head looking down at your cell phone. All right, look up. Be aware. Put that cell phone away. All right, don't drive with your cell phone. Watching your cell phone, you can't do it safely. Don't text and drive. It's so dangerous. We're talking about personal safety. Yeah, when you get in a car, what do? You put on your seatbelt. All right, if you don't put on your seatbelt, you're nuts. You got to wear your seatbelt. I remember I had a partner. She was a female officer. She was getting a squad car, and this is the day of bench seats before bucket seats came out in squad cars. And she kept her car clean, which is great. But she would armor all the vinyl on the seats of her squad car. I'd be sitting next to her, and she'd be driving. We'd get in a high-speed chase. She wouldn't even have her seatbelt on. And as she turned left, she would slide into me. She could hardly maintain control of the vehicle because she would slide across the street. When she turned right, she slid back against her door. How can you maintain control of your vehicle if you're not wearing your seatbelt in an emergency situation? You get in an accident, your head is going to go through the windshield if you're doing 15 miles an hour. All right? How is that going to be safe? You think you're never going to be in an accident? I was never in an accident until I got in my first one. All right? You're going to be in an accident. Somebody's going to hit you. All right? Whether it's your fault or somebody else's, it doesn't matter. Blood runs just as red in New York City as it does in Salt Lake City or Kentucky. Okay? It hurts. Bullets fly just as fast there as it does in Ireland or Europe or Germany or Russia or China or wherever. All right? Or your little tiny community. All right? The suffering is just as great. Bad things happen there. It's just that you're less aware of them because maybe it's not so predominantly making the front pages of the news. All right. Lock your doors of your house. Okay. If you're home right now and your door's unlocked, your front door's unlocked, your side doors are unlocked, lock them. Get up and lock them. When you get in your car, when I get in my car, every time I get in, that door locks as soon as that door closes. It's locked. All the doors are locked on my car. Why do I lock the doors in my car? What am I afraid of? I'm packing heat. I have a concealed firearm on me all the time. I've got it on right now. I'm sitting in my house. All the doors are locked. I've got a sidearm on. Here it is right here. All right. There it is. All right. What am I afraid of? Well, I keep that door locked, not to protect me. It's to protect that idiot who might come down the street and decide that I'm not home and try to kick my door down. It's to protect him. I don't want to take his life. I don't want to shoot him. I don't want to get sued. So I lock my door. Duh. All right? Protect these idiots by locking your doors. Lock your car doors. Keep your valuables out of sight. Guys, be aware of your surroundings. Don't be a victim. Don't be a professional victim. I've seen so many people hurt. I've seen so many people killed. I've seen so many people suffering, their children suffering, their parents suffering, children dying, children dismembered. I don't want you guys to get hurt. I don't want to ever see that again. But it happens over and over. Be smart. Be safe. There's not a policeman per man program in the United States or anywhere else. You couldn't afford it. And if you did have a cop, if you could hire security, okay, imagine, okay, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all right, the Bushes, They have security 24/7. You think it's one person that guards them? No, you got to have 3. What happens is that guy needs to take a break and he has to go to the bathroom, the person that's securing your safety. He's got to have another officer there to secure your safety when he goes to the bathroom. All right? Or they eat, or they take their 15-minute break every 2.5 hours or whatever. All right? So you're going to have 3 people. How many people does it take to man a shift for 24 hours? All right? Just to have one person on. Well, you're going to have 2 or 3 to cover it. All right? You can't afford it unless you're wealthy or a politician. All right? And that's a different story because you and I are paying for it. I can't afford it. All right? But ultimately, you are responsible. Go get a concealed weapons permit. Learn what the law is. Find out when you can or cannot shoot. All right? Take care of business. And don't get hurt. You're responsible for your safety, nobody else. Take care. I love you guys. Don't get hurt. But you're the one responsible. Ultimately, you're the one responsible, nobody else. All right? So just do it. Have a great day. Be safe. Bye.